Today, record high prices and Americans aren't expecting them to drop anytime soon. Inflation expectations at an 8-year high. And Tesla stock down today, CEO Elon Musk indicating he might sell 10% of his shares after asking his Twitter followers if it's a good idea. And Walmart using fully driverless trucks to ramp up its online grocery business. What makes the news special? That and much more coming up on NTD Business. Good evening. Great to have you with us. I'm Paul Graney. One top Federal Reserve official is resigning. Randall Quarles served as the Federal Reserve's vice chair for supervision until last month. Today, he says he'll step down as a bank governor at year's end after serving a 4-year term. His exit will open up another slot on the Fed's Board of Governors, giving President Biden a chance for a broad remake of the 7-member board. And it comes on news consumers are expecting price inflation to get even worse. A survey by the Federal Reserve says the average American expects inflation to be 5.7% a year from now. 5.7%. That's the highest the number's been since higher than last month, and an 8-year high. The Fed Reserve's second-in-command, Vice Chair Richard Clarida, says the current inflation has been far higher than policymakers expected, and if it keeps running hot, could amount to a policy failure for the central bank.
But let me be clear on 2 points. First, realized inflation so far this year represents to me much more than a moderate overshoot of our 2% longer-run goal, and I would certainly not consider a repeat performance a policy success.
Core PCE inflation has been stuck at a 30-year high of 3.6% for the past 4 months in a row. Despite that, Clarida predicts it will resolve itself over time, and core PCE inflation will drop to 2.3% in 2022. So with more Federal Reserve officials warning about the severity of inflation, are investors taking note? Last week, gold broke the $1,800 level. Today, it held that level and extended the gains a little bit. And with us to discuss is Tavi Costa of Crescent Capital. He's portfolio manager and a partner at Crescent. Tavi, great to see you. You've been following this space, I would say, as closely as anyone. You expect the run to continue?
Yes, thanks for having me, Paul. Yeah, I do think this is just the beginning of a bigger move. We've had a long decline of capital allocation in the space. I think that's about to change in a big way. Just looking at global equities today, for every dollar that is coming in the global equity market, about 5 cents has been going to commodity producers. I think that's going to be not going to be the case going forward. I think we're going to see a big transition towards allocation in natural resource industries. And I think gold and silver will benefit from that. They've been very not only undervalued relative to other equity markets, but also other asset classes, but especially even relative to commodities today. So we like to have a large exposure to those gold and silver miners, especially the explorers. We think that those are poised to go much higher from here.
We see money coming into commodity exploration, as you mentioned. Is this people trying to get in on the inflation trade?
I think there's definitely some of that. I think as investors start buying into the inflation thesis, they will start buying into tangible assets as a way of protecting capital. You don't want to be owning tangible assets usually, but when you're at a time when you can't find yield in other alternative of assets and investments, where they actually yield less than inflation and inflation expectation, I think it drives investors towards looking to tangible assets that don't yield anything. And so this is the time to be, in my opinion, looking at those as opportunities. The entire commodity space looks very attractive. We have happen to be more of, I would say, have a deep understanding, perhaps, in the precious metals and base metals space. And so we like to buy gold, silver, copper, base metals in the ground for pennies on the dollar. And so that's really has been our business model. We think that that's where we're going to be driving a lot of the value for investors.
Because recently you tweeted, I believe just over the weekend, you highlighted that the money that was going into exploring for and producing these commodities had actually decreased a lot over the past number of years, and even recently it hadn't increased. Why was that?
It's been I think a lot of folks have been focusing a lot on the issues with the pandemic, creating the supply chain issues that we're seeing today, when I think it was inevitable that those issues were going to occur. And it has to do with this long-term capital spending decline that we saw in commodity companies. I think the gold and silver space has seen a lot of that too, in the behavior from and the demand from investors of asking those corporate managements to actually be more conservative with their capital and look for free cash flow growth rather than investing in exploration and other projects that will drive growth in the future has been one of the big issues. I've never seen a situation where policymakers are fighting inflation with double-digit twin deficits at the same time as we have about $400 billion of QE for the next 8 months with zero interest rates, at the same time as we have this political effort towards restricting natural resource companies from exploring, developing, and producing. So I think this is just the beginning of a bigger trend, in my view.
Really interesting. Tavi Costa, Crescent Capital. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And while gold is finding its feet, crypto is running. The cryptocurrency market is now worth more than $3 trillion. Bitcoin is up over 5% today. The second largest crypto, Ethereum, is up about 3% to an all-time high. The reason for the recent rally is unclear, but one analyst says there are very few sellers in the market. Also, interest in crypto is growing after the first Bitcoin ETF was launched a few weeks ago. Bitcoin itself is very close to its all-time high of just under $67,000, set late October. And Tesla shares were down almost 5% today. It's after CEO Elon Musk held a Twitter poll asking whether he should sell 10% of his stock. NTD's Faye Quarter has the details.
The results are in. On Saturday, Elon Musk tweeted, "Much is made lately of unrealized gains being a means of tax avoidance. So I propose selling 10% of my Tesla stock. Do you support this?" Out of 3.5 million voters, 57.9% said yes.
And he said thereafter that he would bind himself to this decision, even though he has no legal obligation to do so. If Twitter decides he's going to sell, he would offload, which would be at least $25 billion worth of stock.
Nicholas Creel is an assistant professor of business law at Georgia College and State University. Creel says Musk wants to turn public opinion against a proposed tax on billionaires that makes them pay taxes on unrealized capital gains.
He's just wanting to try to get more attention on this issue, which we already know isn't exactly well understood by the public. And by going ahead and doing it in this way, it was very likely to get a lot more people talking about it and then getting back on that issue and to perhaps take it in a way that would be more friendly to what he wants to happen, which is ultimately to have that policy get killed before it ever comes to be.
However, the story doesn't end there. Musk received stock options in 2012 for 22.8 million shares at the strike price of $6.24 per share. Right now, Tesla is trading above $1,000, meaning Musk could make a little under $28 billion if he executes the options. And the key part is this: the options are expiring soon, next year in August. If he doesn't exercise them before then, he'll just lose it all. Faye Quarter, NTD News.
And American Airlines is giving flight attendants a bonus in an effort to prevent another operational meltdown during the holidays. Flight attendants who work during the Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's holidays will get a 150% premium. Better yet, those who have no absences between November 15th and January 2nd will get an even higher 300% premium. The one-time premium for peak holiday travel periods is being offered to help American Airlines meet the expected consumer demand. And a federal appeals court has blocked Biden's vaccine mandate for private employers. There may be constitutional issues with the requirement. But the Surgeon General says the administration is ready to defend the mandate in court. NTD's Kevin Hogan with more.
The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit temporarily halted the Biden administration's vaccine mandate. It put a stay on it until further action by the court. Several entities brought on the legal challenge. Those include many businesses, individuals, and states, including Texas, Utah, and Mississippi. The court said their pleas give cause to believe there are statutory and constitutional issues with the mandate. On Sunday, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy told ABC's This Week the administration is ready to defend its Department of Labor vaccine mandate and why.
But we still have 75,000 cases a day. And it's important we take every measure possible to make our workplaces safer. It's good for people's health, it's good for the economy, and that's why these requirements make so much sense.
The Labor Department unveiled their emergency temporary standard through OSHA. That requires businesses with 100 or more employees to be vaccinated or wear masks and submit to weekly testing. The White House says they are confident that the vaccine mandate will be upheld.
And Wall Street stocks ended slightly higher today. S&P 500 and the Nasdaq both extended their run of all-time highs to 8 straight sessions. The Dow rose 104 points, about 0.3%. S&P 500 gained 4 points, and the Nasdaq added 11 points today. And Walmart is officially the first company to go fully driverless for full-size box truck deliveries. Kroger went fully driverless in 2018, but their vehicles were tiny microvans. NTD's Faye Quarter has more.
From Walmart distribution centers to neighborhood grocery stores, these are the first box trucks to make deliveries without a human backup.
So I would say that these products are now fairly mature and able to be commercialized at this time.
With the help of autonomous tech startup Botanic, Walmart says the automated vehicles are able to handle so-called middle-mile deliveries, which means the distance between a warehouse and a fulfillment center. The trucks drive a 7-mile loop daily for 12 hours in Bentonville, Arkansas. The route involves intersections, traffic lights, and other complex traffic conditions. The trucks are equipped with LiDAR, radar, and cameras to sense the environment around the vehicle. Related software is also used to determine a safe path. Walmart said the use of automated vehicles will also greatly free up store associates and improve efficiency.
I see that trend accelerating over the next 10 years. Even over the next 5 years, as companies figure out human capital planning, I believe costs will actually drive down and, the level of service will be a lot quicker.
Walmart is also doing similar tests in New Orleans, delivering directly to customer pickup locations. But those still have safety drivers. Faye Quarter, NTD News.
And non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, they're getting more popular. Now luxury brands are joining the party too, but what exactly are they selling? NTD's Colin Fredrickson explains.
Luxury brands are entering the shopping metaverse. They now offer non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, in China, just ahead of the Singles' Day sale. Online retail giant Alibaba launched a Metaverse art exhibition. Last year, the platform brought in a whopping $74 billion during Singles' Day through live streaming strategies and the digital NFT collectible trend. Now, unsurprisingly, luxury brands like Burberry and Coach are flocking there and have created their own NFTs for the event.
I think a lot of luxury goods providers are going to be considering it around authenticity. I think is kind of table stakes.
Trevor Dudek is the co-founder of a digital marketing firm. He says it's not only that the customer gets an extra item, buyers can also go to the blockchain to look at the contract and validate the authenticity of the product through the NFT that came with it. Burberry, for instance, sold out of special edition scarves that were listed for $450 each. They came with an interactive deer.
It makes sense that it would really have a lot of awareness in Asia because that's the top Bitcoin mining country and has been for a while.
But these NFTs are sold for an affordable price. This removes the barriers of entry and increases consumer acceptance. In the U.S., this trend is also gaining momentum, especially over the past year, according to Dudek.
And I think that as we continue to live more and more in the digital world, people covet that digital presence and that digital sort of level that they want to achieve. You know, that the blue check mark on Instagram is highly coveted.
Dudek says that in the next 5 years, he expects that every brand is going to have an NFT component to what they do. Colin Fredrickson, NTD News.
And China's clampdown on its tech giants is now being felt in Japan. Today, Japan's Softbank said it took a $10 billion hit to the value of its Vision Fund, which has exposure to Chinese tech firms.
Alibaba shares sharply declined and the price of the Chinese stock that Vision Fund has invested in fell. These are the two biggest factors that drag down the value of our net asset value, or net profit.
Chinese e-commerce firm Alibaba is one of SoftBank's largest assets. The Chinese company's valuation fell by around a third in the second quarter after it was suppressed by the Chinese regime. SoftBank also invested in Chinese ride-hailing firm Didi. It suffered a similar fate. The losses have SoftBank on the defensive. Even as the value of its assets decline, the Japanese tech giant says its stock is still undervalued. But to try and make up for the investor losses, SoftBank says it will buy back up to 15% of its shares. That'll cost it almost $9 billion, money that could have been invested elsewhere. And the U.S. government has charged 2 suspected hackers over ransomware attacks, including one that caused the temporary shutdown of JPS, the world's largest meat processor. One of them is a Ukrainian national, the other one is a Russian national. Justice Department says the two are part of the REvil ransomware group.
Together with our partners, the Justice Department is sparing no resource to identify and bring to justice anyone, anywhere, who targets the United States with a ransomware attack.
Officials also said they've recovered $6 million in ransomware payments. Besides the JBS attack, REvil is also linked to a 4th of July weekend attack on Florida-based software firm Kaseya. Up to 1,500 businesses in the U.S. and around the world were infected, according to the charges. Attorney General Merrick Garland says REvil has been used in attacks against 175,000 computers around the world, and about $200 million in ransom has been paid. And rising prices are affecting everyone, including this Spaniard recently crowned the world's best baker. After his electricity bill doubled, he's now appealing to the government to lower taxes on electricity. NTD's Eddie Aitken has more for us.
Spanish baker Domi Velez is a 5th-generation baker. The business began with his great-grandfather 120 years ago. He now runs artisan bakeries Velez's Oven, employing 12 people and producing 33 different kinds of bread in the southern Spanish city of Lebrija, near Seville. He was awarded the top prize at the World Baker Awards in Munich in October.
Very proud and excited about it. I think it is an award to 5 generations of bakers we've had in the family, and the prize is also for them. It's the excitement and pride of a family tradition, working with a product that we feel is ours. So it was very emotional when we were chosen as the world's best baker in 2021.
Now, however, Velez says his promising operation may be undermined by soaring global energy costs and decades of high inflation in Spain.
We do not have the means to be able to counteract this type of rise, and we end up having to raise the cost of the product with all that implies. It's another spanner in the works for the artisan.
His electricity bills have doubled to over £1,700 a month. The cost of cereals for his loaves have jumped this month for the 3rd time this year, and surging fuel price rises have hit delivery costs.
It could be countered by lowering taxes, and I'm very sure about this. There are lots of taxes on electricity. It's in the government's hands to start lowering taxes to consumers because it's a common good.
The government in September announced caps on gas prices. It cut its special electricity tax to 0.5% to mitigate the impact of rising energy prices on consumers. But some of the steps have yet to be reflected in bills. Some consumer groups are calling for further tax cuts to household income. Eddie Aitken, NTD News.
And still to come this evening. Krispy Kreme releasing 4 new donuts ahead of Thanksgiving. They're based on holiday flavors. Stay tuned to find out what they are. And one Chicago destination is getting into the holiday spirit with a fascinating light display. What's so special about it? That and more coming up on NTD Business.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. Cancel culture has not only affected myself and MyPillow, but millions of you out there. Before all this started, I had already written in my memoir, I dedicate this book to anyone that's looking for hope. Well, right now, we're all looking for hope. I believe that my story is going to bring inspiration and hope to everyone. By the time you're done reading my book, you will believe that with God, all things are possible. To thank you all for your support, I'm offering some of my best prices ever on MyPillow products, including this exclusive bundle. You get my book and these 5 MyPillows. They all have beautiful scenes and verses from the Bible, such as Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. This 6-pack bundle is regularly $219. Now it's just $99.98 and free shipping with your promo code. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below. Thank you and God bless.
90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. They're not out to tell you the truth of what's happening. They're out to tell you the picture of the world that they represent. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in facts, and prevent people from being misled. This is a battle between truth and deceit. Subscribe today and join the Americans who are seeking truth and tradition. We'd love to have you on board.
Welcome back. The U.S. is lifting the travel ban for a long list of countries. It's been in place for almost 20 months. Now hotel and travel businesses are particularly excited. NTD's Phil Zoe has more.
The U.S. is allowing visitors from over 30 countries, including Canada, Mexico, most of Europe, and more. How is that going to impact businesses, including this hotel right here in Manhattan? Let's go find out more. I spoke to John Fitzpatrick, the owner of the Fitzpatrick Grand Central Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. Business was down 95% at one point during the pandemic. He is excited about the news.
It's like Christmas Day, St. Patrick's Day, every day coming together. International travel is the most important. I mean, it's, $47 billion worth of tourism. That's what tourism represents here in New York.
He says international travelers usually stay longer and spend more money.
They come because they want to spend 6 or 7 days in the city. So they're going to go to Broadway, they're going to shop. They do everything together. It's all in one.
Alex Malbranch over at Plane Ahead says the influx of travelers will create chaos at the airlines.
There's going to be an adjustment for the airlines in order to really get the right amount of staffing and the right amount of flights to be able to take on that sort of capacity.
But overall, the industry is staying positive about lifting the travel ban.
We're still really bullish on the short-term and long-term full recovery of the travel industry and hospitality sector.
Fitzpatrick agrees.
But look, we're open and we're moving along, and we'll get back by the mid next year, the end of next year.
Travelers under the age of 18 are exempt from the vaccination requirements. 50 countries, including Haiti, Afghanistan, Iraq, and much of Africa, are also exempt from the vax mandate. One reason is there's not a lot of vaccines available at these countries. Phil Zhou, NTD News, New York.
And Krispy Kreme is mixing traditional Thanksgiving flavors with its donuts this year. Companies released 4 new treats for a limited time, including the pecan pie donut. It's a Krispy Kreme original glazed donut dipped in butter tart filling and sprinkled with candied pecans and pie crust crumbles. There's also the Dutch apple pie donut. It's stuffed with apple pie filling dipped in caramel icing topped with cinnamon. And what's Thanksgiving without some cranberry? Krispy Kreme's third donut is filled with cranberry dipped in cranberry orange icing. And lastly, there's the Gobbler donut. It's a chocolate icing donut shaped like a heart, decorated with chocolate cream and topped with Thanksgiving sprinkles and a turkey face, but no turkey flavoring. And with the holidays right around the corner, Chicago Botanic Garden will be celebrating the holidays with an enchanting lightscape exhibition for the 3rd year. One of the top people in charge shares what's special about the display.
On November 12th, Lightscape will transform the Chicago Botanic Garden in Glencoe, Illinois into an after-dark artistic lights wonderland.
And each year we really concentrate on bringing new things to the audiences because we want people to return each year. So 80% of the trail is new.
At nightfall, Lightscape illuminates a 1.25 mile trail, immersing visitors in its twinkling magic.
And so you'll see things like floraison, which is flowers. It's brought to us by a French company. And so you'll see poppies hanging from trees. You'll also see kinetic hues, which are 12 perpendicular structures that are very colorful and engaging. But you'll see old things too that people just absolutely have to see, which is Winter Cathedral. You really want to come and see them because they're all very different. Some of them have points of lights like Winter Cathedral, and those are a few hundred points of lights. But then you're going to come upon something totally different that is, like a perpendicular structure that has very colorful, octagon structure lights.
Inspired by the Botanic Garden, creatively configured shapes and colors of the lights unveil exciting and engaging adventures to everyone.
If you are interested in coming, you're going to want to buy your tickets now because we're pretty sure we're going to sell out before we open. So please go online to chicagobotanic.org/Lightscape and buy your tickets now.
Lightscape has been a popular family event since its inception in 2019 and will be on display from November 12th to January 2nd, 2022.
That's the latest business updates for today, but you can still catch NTD Evening News with Stephanie Cox. That's at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. For NTD Business, it's all for today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to catch all of our programs on TV. NTD Evening News is on every weekday at 6:30 p.m. Find your local NTD channel at ntd.com/TV.